Okay, technical difficulties, but I'm trying this again. Why is this hard?
I think you did it.
Oh, I did?
Yes, you did.
Finally!
You did.
Finally! Well, we'll have to go fast now. This took so long.
No, it's good. It's good. You're good. Okay.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. If you tuned in now, but we're good now.
So do you have questions for me?
Yes, I yes, I asked some of my writer friends who knows doing this to, for some questions, and I got a few.
Okay,
Let me
great.
just pull them up. Okay, well, the first question. The first question comes from. Oh my. Oh, excuse me. I'm having a hard time getting this to. Okay. The first question comes from Donna L. Martin, and she asks, if a debut offer only had $200 to spend on a marketing plan, where should they focus their efforts?
Well, let's see. I would say, I mean, I think the most important thing that an author can do is have a mailing list. So if a mailing list is what you can spend your money on, I would do that. And by doing that, I mean, there are ways that you can sign up for a free list. There are things like MailChimp, which I don't use. I use Aweber, but
If I do,
excuse me.
oh, I use Aweber too.
And do they have a free level? I don't know.
Oh no, no, I mean I use Aweber because for my mailing list, list, but I know of Mailchimp.
So MailChimp does have a free level. So if you can do that, your $200 can be spent elsewhere. But I think that the most valuable thing you can do is have a mailing list. That's the first thing I would recommend any author to do, and to have an opt-in. So if you don't know how to create an opt-in box, I would hire somebody to do that. I would also absolutely create a website. You have to have a website. So if you need to pay for any kind of the basic things you need to do for a website, like buy a URL, that costs something like $8. There are very small little expenses that add up quickly for things like a website and some WordPress things, like a self-hosted WordPress, little costs like that That's what I would do. Establish your presence online.
Yes, and I've definitely been doing that myself with my site. And you convinced me to go with Aweber. Well, I've listened to your podcast for a couple of years now, and you convinced me to go with Aweber because when I knew I needed a list, I went with Aweber because it had, because like WordPress, it was worth the investment. But I will say having convincing someone to have a mailing list is the first step. The next step is building that list, and that I found a bit tricky. And I think one of the things I wanted to mention when I came on with you was in trying to build my list, this there are things that I wanted to offer to help make the list more enticing, like the ethical bribe as you talk about, but I'm kind of a bit stuck on ideas because some things I have tried, either I realized it was too much work for the people on the list, or it was it would only work if I had more to share in terms of releases.
I'm not sure what is your question?
I was just saying that I use Aweber and I'm trying to build my list because I know how important it is. But I
Yeah.
feel that there's a disconnect between knowing you need a list and building it, and it can take and it takes time, which
Yes.
it takes time, and
Absolutely. There's no magic bullet. Nothing's fast. I mean, it takes work. Like any business, you're building a business, you know.
And I think what I've tried to, I think the offers I've asked this in questions, which I'll get to a couple more since we're short on time. But I think the issue I've had with my friends, my writer friends, who are trying to build their audience and build a list,
Hmm.
is we need a once we know we need a list, building it's hard, especially if we are limited on our resources, but we hang in there because the alternative is to quit, and none of us want to quit.
Right. But Tori, you can build your list with what I said was the ethical bribe, or it's also called a lead magnet. You can do that by making something like you can, for example, create the top tips of, or the best secrets I ever created to whatever. You know, I mean, there are things that you learn on your own. I mean, you don't want to take somebody else's, but there are things that you can write about or that you can create, and then the person, when they sign up for your list, they can automatically download those things, or you send them to them. There are ways that you can do that. I use something called lead pages, so it automatically downloads, or uh, there are ways that you can do it within Aweber. I don't know how. I don't remember how MailChimp does it, but most mailing lists have a function in which it can deliver it automatically. So, and that is why using a professional mailing list service is a great thing. But you can create those things, and it doesn't cost
Yes.
any money. I like to use something like Mac's app called Pages because it makes it look professional. But you can use Word or even just a text edit program or anything, and just write something, export it like a PDF as a PDF, and then upload it or have a link to your site, which is another reason you need a site, and make it a downloadable link, and just let people get it when they sign up.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I have been working on some explainer videos for some things that I could do in that rain. I'm just trying to keep them short because that's the reason why I haven't upload them yet. Because as you know, I'm fighting brevity, but I know when
No,
I'll
you're
get there. So
not
now I'll
fighting.
go on to the
No,
next
wait,
question.
sorry. You're not fighting brevity. Brevity fights you. You're fighting long. You fight long. I don't know what the opposite of brevity is, but you fight writing too long. So you want to cut, right?
Yeah, I'm
Brevity
getting
is your
there.
friend, Tori. Brevity is your friend.
Yeah, that's true. Now to the next question. Ren, Miki wrote in, and a friend of mine who just launched her first historical middle grade novel, and uh, and she wrote in asking, when you don't have, she's with a small publisher, and her question was, when you're trying to build a readership, but your readership which in the case isn't predominantly online, is predominantly online due to school and parental restrictions. What can you do to reach the younger readers we want to have, and how can we tie that into reaching the parents of those readers?
Let me repeat that to see if I understand it. Okay, so if your readership are in school, your readership is in school, they're kids, you mean? And how do you reach the parents?
Not necessarily reaching them like in a school visit, but I'm talking more like when you're trying to get your book known to your target readers, but they're not necessarily online in the way, say, a white audience would be.
Mm-hmm. So if people aren't online, and you do in-person visits, you go to bookstores, you go.
Oh, hold on a minute. Sorry, hold on a minute.
Call from agent.
Sorry, those telemarketers.
That's okay. That's okay. That's funny. Okay, so if people aren't online, do school visits and do. That's funny because I haven't thought about people not online for so long. You through school visits and through libraries and through visits to bookstores, all those kinds of things, book festivals, all those things are in my book, How to Promote Your Children's Book. So they're. Yeah.
Yep, I think what I was trying to get, the person who said in that question was trying to express was that, yes, her audience is online, but what I mean is the way 8 to 12-year-olds online is different than different than 15 to 18-year-old online. And I think that's what the disconnect she was having, because most of what she was finding as far as reaching her readers works for YA readers who are more independently online, but for young readers where their access is restricted for obvious reasons, she was having trouble reaching the parents of those readers, and then having them work together.
Right. Well, there are different ways to reach the different audiences. First of all, the parents are the ones who are buying the books. So right, and so you want to reach them by appealing to why they would buy the book. Not so you talk to them about literacy, you talk to them about their interests and why they would want to buy your book. So, for example, my book, Kindergarten Rocks, it deals with a kid who has fears about kindergarten. So if you are trying to get your kid to feel good about going to kindergarten, then that's what you would appeal to the parents. That would be your focus in your marketing to the parents. It wouldn't be like, isn't this a cute book? It would be, one of the things I gave away with that book was a top, 25 things to do with your children when they're going into kindergarten. And I created a whole list, and I discussed it with experts, doctors and psychologists, and kindergarten teachers and preschool teachers, what were great exercises to do with preschoolers who were fearful or even not going into kindergarten. And it was downloaded like crazy. It is every summer downloaded like crazy before kids are ready to go into school. So that's the kind of thing that you can do to you appeal to parents. You put a picture of the book at the top of the page, and the ISBN number, and where it can be purchased, and the price of the book, the cover price, and your website and all that contact information, and a link if you can. If it's a PDF, you can put a live link in it. So all those things are fabulous. So that's one way
Yes,
to.
they are, and I definitely. Yes, I think Mickey will find that helpful. Plus, and she's a former teacher herself, so she has the connections that she could use to get into the schools that way. Where she has been doing that already, but yeah, I think this will help push her forward a little more when she sees this.
Mhm.
And since we're short on time, one last thing I did want to do. One last question that I think ties into other things questions I got, and that was when questions was when you're starting up, when you're starting to launch when we go to launching our book and doing the post-release marketing. A question I got a lot was how do you balance balance. One of the questions I got was to pertain to the final question was on social media, and that question was how do you get people to see that you're, because my writer friends are struggling to be on social media because they feel like, aside from maybe the readers they want to reach aren't there, they also feel like too much of it is offers buy my book, and I've tried to get them to see that, for example, you don't do that with your social media. I don't, and some of the other writers I know who are further along than me who are on social media, they don't buy my book over and over again, and I think the biggest question they had was how do you the biggest question they had was like why is it important to start your marketing efforts before you're published? And I now know why, but I'd like you to tell people that are watching now.
Well, of course, you don't want to be really boring and annoying. So I usually tell people that, it's like a cocktail party, and this is not my genius. It's other people have said this for a long time. For example, Twitter. You don't ever want to be the annoying guy at the cocktail party cornering someone who's like, hi, let me tell you about me, and let me tell you about how great I am, and let me tell you about my job and who I am and what I do, and I am so great. So imagine being cornered like that. It's like that guy at the cocktail party, and if you're always saying, here's my book, and here's what I'm about, and here's what I do, and go to my website, and here I am, and oh my gosh, first of all, not only will you bore everybody else, you will bore yourself. And so you want to really be, you want to be reciprocal. You're very good at this, Tori. You're very good at retweeting other people and showing other people's information, and I really think that's an important thing to do online. I mean, what my motto is, reciprocity rocks, and I really believe in that, and I think that it's a great thing to do. It's more fun that way anyway. So, I mean, I'm right now in a launch mode, and unfortunately 2 launches, which are going to bump up into each other, but this is the first one, and then I'm going to have my YA, and I seriously fear people labeling me that guy at the cocktail party. So I have to be careful. You do have to be careful. So
Yes, it's a balance between doing what you need to do and letting people know that you have stuff out, but not ending people with it, because that is annoying, and I've tried very hard to do that, and I think that the delays I've had of my book coming out in the next year or so have aided in this, because since I don't have as much new information to share on that, I talk about other things related to my niche, and I you know I I let other writers shine.
that's nice. It's a nice quality.
Well, we got a bit over time, and sorry for the technical difficulties, but I've learned, and I'll be better for the next time.
Hey, listen, I'm impressed. This is your first hangout on air, and you got on, which is better than I did the first time I did. So I tried it. So congratulations. It's good. Thank you for having me.
It was great. It was great talking with you.
Thank you for having me, Tori.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm so glad that I was part of your launch team for this book because I've been using a lot of the tips in the book already, and I can't wait to share more of what I got from the book through the stuff I'm doing now.
Good, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it was amazing that it debuted on Amazon at #1 in marketing, so that was crazy. That was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. And I'll be sharing a lot more of that information with the team, and it's really exciting. So it ain't over yet. Oh, and also we have to tell everybody that if you want to order it and hand in your receipt for the book on Amazon to support@katiedavis.com, you will receive $125 worth of products for writers. You got to do it by March 31st. So.
Right, which is next Monday.
That's right. That's right. It's Monday already.
I've been telling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying. I told all my reference about this great deal. I mean, it's half the price of your first edition, twice the content, and you get those bonuses, and you send that receipt in.
Well, it's only going to be this price. It's only the introductory price. It's the early adopter price.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's why I let them know. No, it's only the introductory price. After March 31st, it goes up to around $15, I think.
Well, no, let me correct that. After March 31st, the receipt offer goes away. I don't know when I'm going to raise the price. I haven't decided that yet.
Okay, well, I knew the price was going to get raised, and it is a good deal while it's still this price, which isn't going to be for long.
Right. So, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad we got to get this going. These tech issues are just crazy, but I've learned I'm going to do better.
Yeah, you will. It just takes practice. Thanks, Tori. Bye.
Bye. Well, for those of you still in, that was Kay Davis and the second edition of her ebook, How to Promote Your Children's Book, Tips, Tricks, and Secrets to Create a Bestseller, is available exclusively on Amazon right now for $4.99 US for a limited time. And sorry for the tech issues, but they happen, and I've learned, and I'm going to do better for next time. So in closing, for those of you who did stick around and stay to the end, thank you for watching. Bye.